Drew Brees. No one could imagine a week ago today that we'd be looking at a Tuesday where 11 plus hours of snowfall coming down at a pretty heavy rate, about an inch an hour. We got 1/5, 20% of Denver, Colorado's annual snowfall on average last Tuesday. Not blizzard-like conditions, but moderate to heavy snowfall for sure for anywhere. Like I said last week, I don't care if you're in Anchorage, Alaska, Quebec, Vermont. I think Vermont's the snowiest state in the country. Colorado, Utah. Doesn't matter. You got no snow on the ground. 12 hours later, you got 2 feet like in my backyard. Now, that's, snow drift type stuff, snow getting bounced off of a roof, cornered by a fence, that type of thing. But my yard, 20 by 30, 30 by 25, whatever it is, 2 feet of snow throughout the entire yard, from up against my house, up against the garage, up against the neighbor's fence, up against the other neighbor's fence. 2 feet. And in the front yard, like most folks, about a good foot, 10 and a half, 11 inches of snow. That's significant anywhere. Who would have thought about that? And then it was a double dip. It was a double whammy. The next day, last Wednesday, it was 17 degrees in New Orleans. On the South Shore, 17 degrees. That means like Mandeville, Covington, around 12. Lafayette, 7 degrees. Lake Charles, 5 degrees last Wednesday. New Iberia, down on Bayou Teche, about 18, 20 miles southeast of Lafayette, right there in Cajun country. New Iberia, 3 degrees. 3. Anchorage, Alaska last Wednesday was 37. 37 in Anchorage, Alaska, 7 in Lafayette, 3 in New Iberia. 17 in New Orleans on the South Shore, 17. I don't know about you. I said this last week. I've been fortunate. I've been to Europe in the winter. I've been to New York in the winter. I've been to Chicago in the winter. I've been to Colorado in the winter. I've seen heavy snowfall like what we had in New Orleans on Tuesday, but in Colorado, just much bigger snowflakes, like more of a torrential snowfall, like maybe a foot coming down in 3 or 4 hours. So I've seen some pretty heavy snow. And what we got in New Orleans was pretty serious, no matter where you are. No matter where you are. Right? It's just pretty amazing. And the temperatures were pretty damn cold too. So significant, historic temperatures, historic snowfall. Last week was crazy, just a week ago. Coming up 1 week from this Sunday, from looking back to looking forward now, Super Bowl 59 right here in New Orleans a week from this Sunday. It'll be the Eagles and the Chiefs. I think that's a replay from 2 years ago, right? Same Super Bowl as 2 seasons ago. KC and Philly. Kansas City looking to become the first team to win 3 in a row. Super Bowl 1 week from this Sunday. New Orleans, Superdome. Yeah, you right. Hey, anything we're missing as a city as we're gearing up for the Super Bowl? And I mean like eyesore, things that it's kind of hard because we're numb to them. We're used to them. We accept them, especially over time. I mean, we go around potholes and things like that almost unconsciously on certain streets because we're used to them. We are numb to them. It could be weeds, graffiti, potholes, infrastructure, something that just looks dark, dank, nasty, not a good look, not something good. Everybody's missing it. Anything standing out that you see out there that needs some cleaning up? Anything. I saw something the other day. I emailed Michael Hecht about it. I'm coming in from Slidell into the east across the lake on the twin span, and you're entering Orleans Parish sign. I think during the day it's fine. It just looks a little worn, but it's fine, I guess. At nighttime, it's not fine. When your reflectors hit the white lettering, a lot of the reflective material is chipped off. So you really can't see Orleans Parish. And for anyone coming in at night, and there'll be people coming in at night next week, all next week, media, fans, folks that aren't even going to the game, that are just coming into New Orleans to have fun with the Super Bowl crowd. They're going to see that sign, and first impression of New Orleans. But boy, the sign where you enter New Orleans on the interstate, the reflective materials off the sign. Now, you might roll your eyes and go, God, Corey, whatever. No, it's those little things that all add up to make a bad impression. Now, the first impression, you want a brand new sign. I text Michael Hecht. Got 2 weeks. Get the Department of Transportation Development, DOTD, out of BR to put up a new sign on that twin span coming in with bright green, white lettering, and all the reflective material on it. No, I think even during the day, it looks a little worn and beat up. All the interstate signs in downtown New Orleans have been replaced, like all the exits and entrances to the Pontchartrain Expressway, the I-10, in and around the Superdome have been replaced. So no, those are just the little things. No one looks at them that comes in from out of town and goes, oh, wow, new interstate signs. You don't get a pat on the back for that. You don't get a gold star for doing the normal stuff. But when the signs, have letters falling off of them, they look like crap, that stands out as a negative. Boy, New Orleans is beat up and busted up. They can't even replace an interstate sign, whatever. Stuff that people that live in other municipalities, they don't see that because the sign gets replaced before the lettering falls off of it. So they never, ever see it. Anything like that stick out to you that is an eyesore? It doesn't matter what it is. You can email us, Corey at Corey Talks. I'll pass it on to Michael Hecht at Greater New Orleans Inc. And got about, 13 days to knock these things out. It could be power washing something, public or private. Corey, this building, man, right on the I-10, right? Man, a lot of folks are going to be exiting right there to go to their hotels. It just looks like crap. One thing that I mentioned that I think was kind of ignored, all that piping on the interstate, that like 60s era piping above the railing. A lot of it's missing. A lot of it's there intact, but it's all bent and twisted. Needs to just be fixed, replaced, put back into place, whatever. Now, I told, the group over at Greater New Orleans Inc. doing the Super Bowl stuff, consolidate this somewhere, like some exit that has it. Take it all off that exit where it's not noticed and put it into play where it is noticed. Make sure all the piping's complete and there are no gaps missing and the like. Now, I would say remove it entirely, but then you have little, bolts, whatever, or not bolts. Bolts sticking up. And the railing actually is probably a little low. And that piping gives the driver an artificial sense of security. I mean, if you think you're rolling your eyes at that, think about the old causeway railing. When they removed it, folks were freaking out. It's like, okay, the ornamentation wasn't meant to hold your vehicle. So that's the real railing. That's why they wanted to put that, taller railing on, which they did put on. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Yeah, you right. Super Bowl a week from this Sunday. We'll talk about that and all kind of other goodies on this Monday afternoon. The Corporals fielding your phone calls at 766-9480. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Boy, we went from very hot to you might be running air conditioning right now. Total Maintenance is there for you. Air conditioning and heating experts that are honest, that come immediately. Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys, taking care of you in Metro New Orleans, taking care of you in Metro Baton Rouge. If you need air conditioning or heat help in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, tm-ac.com. Total maintenance.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at La Barre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Hey, Marigny, Bywater, Treme, French Quarter, CBD, Warehouse District, Garden District, Irish Channel. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Yeah, you right. The corporal fielding your phone calls 766-9480. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Yeah, you right. 50 big bucks, I should say. We'll get you jump started at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse. My only regret, my last visit to the Woodhouse about 2 months ago, Sunday afternoon, a 4:30 deep tissue massage. My only regret, I only did 50 minutes instead of 80. I was just getting going. Another 30 minutes would have been perfection. Yeah, 80-minute deep tissue massage next time for me. 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. I hit the Canal Street at Carrollton Mid-City location. That's closest to where I live. They're in Metairie near North Kenner, Transcontinental at West Esplanade. They're in Mandeville, East Causeway Approach, right across from the Mandeville City Hall. They're in Slidell, right off the I-10 Gauze exit. And they're in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. WoodhouseSpas.com, your website. WoodhouseSpas.com. You can book an appointment, print your own gift card, any denomination online. WoodhouseSpas.com. 5 area locations. 1975 Super Bowl was moved. Why? Why was the 1975 Super Bowl moved? Give me the answer to that, and I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Yeah, Super Bowl a week from this Sunday, Philly and KC. Anything we're missing, some eyesore out there that's like an easy fix. Power wash, cut down the vine, the weeds, cut down that weed tree. It's not a real tree. It's just some crappy looking weed. What do we need to do? Fix this, easy infrastructure fix. Put up a fence here. It's too late to tear that thing down, but you could block it out. Wrap it in something, put up a fence, get a temporary billboard in front of it, whatever. Anything and everything you can think of that needs to be tweaked out, that needs to be, fixed. Now, I don't know if it's got a banner on it right now or not, but like the old New Orleans Center parking garage by the arena from the Pontchartrain Expressway, like it desperately needs a power washing. And maybe it's like a power washing and then repainted. But maybe the thing's wrapped right now with some big advertisement, and it doesn't matter. That'd be fine. Lots of buildings in the CBD with major wraps, major billboards, like huge, 10 stories tall by, 50, 80, 100 feet across, gigantic. Several buildings in downtown New Orleans wrapped. More to come. Plus lots of artwork that's staying, that's permanent. 766-9480, the phone number. 766-9480. That's how you dial us up.
Danny, they call from Lakeport.
What's that, Corporal?
Danny from Lakeport.
From where?
I might have heard it wrong. Just say hold on.
All right. No problem. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Street barriers going up on Bourbon Street in the Quarter. Oh boy. Some legislators sending a letter out to the NFL, to the New Orleans Sports Foundation, Stadium Exposition, all of it. We don't want a vulgar halftime show that you NFL folks sometimes have. We don't want a vulgar halftime show. Wow. We don't want a vulgar halftime show. Hey, Louisiana legislature, and the legislators that authored this, I think it's a little late, 13 days out from the game. The halftime show, if it's going to be vulgar or not, what it is happening, and it's planned and it's done. They've been rehearsing it. They're not changing anything. Should have done this 6 months ago, a year ago. And more importantly, should have been pushing the NFL, if you were a legislature worth a damn, onto making it all New Orleans acts. And Grambling and Southern's band, like Old School, New School, Lil Wayne up there, Trombone Shorty, Neville Brothers, Batiste family, the brass bands. I mean, would have been incredible. But, you don't have the foresight or leadership skills for that. But you got this crap about getting reelected. Hey, we didn't want a vulgar show. We're out for you, Louisiana. Wholesome family entertainment. It's a little late for that. But it works for you guys because of your political agenda. Pathetic. Should have pushed for Louisiana acts a year ago. Let's head to the phone lines. 504-766-9480. We're heading to the capital city, Baton Rouge, up the I-110, where Hokie Gaijon played his high school ball. Danny joins us in Baker, Louisiana. What up, Danny?
Hey, Corey, what up?
What's going on in Baker?
Just melting away from the snow.
That was incredible, wasn't it?
That was unbelievable.
It really was. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that ever again. It was the perfect storm in the sense we got that Arctic blast and this humid, system coming up from the Gulf, and they just met and started pounding out snow for 12 hours straight. Anyway, what was the low temperature last Wednesday, the day after, Danny, up in Baker? But you guys must have got to like 12, 10.
10. It was 10 degrees.
That's unbelievable. That's unreal. 10 degrees in North Baton Rouge. Wow. Anyway, what's on your mind, Danny?
I think I have the answer for the switching of the Super Bowl in 1975.
Yeah, why did they have to move the Super Bowl in 1975?
It was scheduled to be played in the Superdome, but the Superdome was not ready constructively, so they moved it to O2 Lane Stadium.
Kaboom goes the dynamite, Danny and Baker. Yeah, you right.
Yeah, you right.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
Got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse, Danny.
Hey, Corey.
Yep.
Question for you.
Yeah.
This is the second time that I've answered a question that was right, and I got a Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate from you for $50.
Yep.
You can't get your toenails trimmed at the Woodhouse Day Spa for $50. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't know what a pedicure or manicure is. What is a pedicure or manicure? Just one single thing. I think it would be somewhere around that $50-$80, something like that.
That's what I'm saying. You're kind of making it sound like it's a great gift certificate when it really isn't, because I looked up the prices when I got the first gift certificate. I looked them up online with their price, so they're pretty trendy.
It's a premier day spa. I think the prices are very similar to any spa that's trying to be like the Woodhouse, and it's $50. I don't know, Danny. I think it is something big time. Who got that gift card last time? Like, who do you give it to?
I gave it to my girlfriend.
And she wasn't happy about it?
Well, I had to pitch in another $150.
It's better than $200, though. That's what I'm saying. Get you jump started on something good.
Yeah, if you say so, Corey.
Oh, boy. Well, Danny, you got another one. You got another dilemma, brother. Corey's $50 gifts costing me $150.
Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you, Corey. I watch your show every day.
Nice. I appreciate it, Danny. Thanks, brother.
I do. I enjoy it. I used to live in New Orleans for 25 years, and I've lived in Baker now since 2010, and I listen to your show or tape it every day. I watch it, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the heck out of it. I love it when you have Jeff Smith from that broadcaster from that radio station. I love hearing y'all little banter going back and forth.
Hey, what are you checking us out on? Cox Channel 4 up there?
Yeah, Cox Channel 4.
Now, when you get in the car right now, we're on 600 AM up there too, Danny. 600 AM in Baker.
Oh, well, thanks. I'd like to listen to you in the car if I'm in it. Yeah.
Yep. And also, we're on YouTube. You can, the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. You can put that on your phone.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Sorry, I'm costing you $150 today, Danny.
That's right, Corey.
All right. Hang on. All right.
Yes, sir.
That's Danny in Baton Rouge up the I-110, I-6, whatever, LA 61, US 61, Airline Highway up in Baker. Thanks a lot, Danny in Baker. Excellent work. Superdome was not ready in January of 1975. So they had to move it to Tulane Stadium. The Superdome didn't open until August of 75, 6 months later. We ended up getting the 78 game. Sweet. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning Suite. Want to experience the best dry cleaner in Metro New Orleans? They've only been at it for 85 years, since 1940. Walk-up locations, free pickup and delivery, manless locker locations. YoungsDryCleaning.com. YoungsDryCleaning.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Oh boy, Danny and Baker saying his 15 minutes of fame cost him $150 a pop. He just picked up 50 big bucks to the Woodhouse, 5 area locations. Since Danny's in Baker, North Baton Rouge, he'll just beeline down the I-110 to I-10 and get off around Bluebonnet, Mall of Louisiana exit. And his girlfriend will be very, very happy. Danny, not so much. But if she's happy, Danny, you're happy. It's all worth it. 766-9480 is the phone number. You know, we get numb to the trash, the litter, the graffiti, the weeds, the infrastructure problems like potholes and the like. Things that aren't normal for like most North American cities. But we get used to it because it's been here forever. When I was married, right in front of our house, I lived literally right next door to my mother-in-law, and who I still love to this day. So anyone's like, man, who would want to live next to your mother-in-law? Loved my mother-in-law. She was great. Never, ever thought for a minute, boy, I live right next door to my mother-in-law. I got to get away from her. That never, ever came into my mind for a second, and that's the honest truth. Anyway, there was this pothole on our street about 50 feet towards the river from our driveway. And my former wife's mom's sister would come in with her husband from Ohio. Her husband's name was Leon. And he'd come down once a year. They came down once a year. Every year, same time, once a year. Stayed like a week or 10 days. And he, like a year later, for first year he's there, he's like, wow, that pothole's pretty big right there. Like, yeah. Comes back a year later. That pothole's still there. He's laughing about it. Comes back like year 2 or 3 and the pothole's still there. We called the pothole Leon. We named it after him. Because it's just there. It's just always going to be there, you know? Now, I remember on where I lived, one morning early, somebody in the neighborhood must have got 20 or 30 sacks of oyster shells and filled every pothole on the street. I was right off Maple Street. So it's like basically from like Phillips Bar, Bruno's, Red's Tavern, all the way to Carrollton. Every pothole, every, crack in the street filled with oyster shells. Within 24 hours, the city of New Orleans was on Maple Street shoveling up the oyster shells, and then the pothole fixer was there potholing every pothole on the entire street. I was like, wow, that's how you get a pothole filled? You get someone to put shells in the hole to fill the hole, and then the city comes and digs out the shells and fills the hole immediately? That's how you get a pothole filled in New Orleans? Wow. Crazy. No, we have so many things we get used to. We were used to that pothole. We just naturally drove around it. Or we could put tires on either side and go right under the middle of the car. We never, ever hit that pothole. Leon's pothole. No, in New Orleans, we are used to weeds, graffiti, litter. When blight gets torn down, or some weeds get cut that are 10 feet tall, or some graffiti gets painted over, or a blighted building gets boarded up, or new fencing put around it, or any of this, the infrastructure repaired, we were like, wow, look at that. I noticed something different here. It looks so good. Yeah, because it looks so crappy. And we're numb to it. We get used to it living here. So out-of-towners come in, it is glaring to them. It just jumps off the page. Wow. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. 766-9480. You can email me, Corey at Corey Talks. I'll forward it to Michael Hecht and the Super Bowl crew. And maybe in the next 13 days, they can knock out this eyesore. Now, I mentioned a minor one, very minor, but worth mentioning. Coming across the Twin fans from the Twin span from Slidell to New Orleans East, the entering Orleans Parish sign right in the middle of the Twin span, Slidell to the east, going west on I-10, entering Orleans Parish. I guess during the day I've never noticed it, so it's green sign, white Orleans Parish lettering. At night, a lot of the reflective material is off the Orleans lettering, so you barely can read it until you're right up on it, and it just looks like crap. And it yells that, wow, you're entering New Orleans. The first thing you see, entering Orleans Parish over the lake, there's that. Just awful, terrible, the worst. Now, all I can think is politics had something to do with this. We'll get the straight poop with Michael Hecht on Friday. I'll ask him about this. But that New Orleans East tombstone, as I call it, right before you get by the I-610, if you're coming in from the west, coming in from the east, going westbound on I-10, it would be on your left about a half mile before the I-510 Chalmette exit. That New Orleans East big looks like a tombstone. And if you're coming from the city, right when you pass I-510, the interstate, that like center part of the interstate with like the garden in it, if you want to call it that, that ends, that garden center thing ends, and you're just on kind of the interstate out by Bayou Sauvage heading towards the Michoud exit. Before the Michoud exit on your right, in between I-510 and Michoud exit, that tombstone, New Orleans East. That was supposed to be jazzed up. Now, the original plan that I proposed was cutting back a bunch of the woods behind it, bringing in some mounding, some dirt, and putting like a mocked up Saturn V rocket, the external tank for the shuttle, Higgins boat with Army guys running out of it, billboards saying exactly what everything is, you know. New Orleans, the most significant achievement in mankind's history, arguably, putting man on the moon. We made the engines that did it. We were a big player, a significant part. World War II, the Higgins boats. Eisenhower credited Higgins with winning the war. Helped, win World War II. The worst, tragic war, arguably, in the history of mankind, based off of how advanced we were and smarter and understanding past wars in history, and still get into this at a world level. So we put man on the moon. We helped stop World War II. Are you kidding me? All that should be celebrated. I get pissed off when I go to Mississippi and I see that Saturn V rocket at the Infinity Space Center, exit 2 right there in Mississippi, because that thing was out in New Orleans East at Michoud for decades. And it should be by the damn tombstone that says New Orleans East in the East. But we lack leaders in the East. We lack leaders in Louisiana. We got jokers like the used car salesman Higgins over there in Cajun country, that moron. And folks celebrate that moron and vote for him 70-80% and think it's a good thing they're doing and wonder why the needle doesn't move in a positive way for them. Because that idiot's, your representative. You expecting the needle to move in a positive way for you? Something mentally wrong with you if you elect a person like that and expect that. So lack of leadership in general in New Orleans, in Louisiana, No, I don't see anything happening close to my idea, much less even trimming back and putting up some welcome signs, Super Bowl signs, billboards. I don't think anything's being planned. I was by there the other day. They would already have to be cutting back woods and the like. So just ignoring me on that one. And then Lakefront Airport, I said take the lakefront all the way to Canal Boulevard and go downtown that way. Instead, they're going to direct traffic down Lakeshore Drive, but just till Elysian Fields. And then take Elysian Fields to downtown New Orleans, which it's not bad. It's just not as good as Canal Boulevard. Canal Boulevard's lush and plush and affluent and oak tree lined and really nice. Buried power lines. Get on the I-610. Go downtown. Easy. Instead, they're going to go down Elysian Fields, which has some crusty parts. Some parts that are a little rough, a little worn out. I like Elysian Fields. I grew up off Elysian Fields by UNO. That's my hood growing up. I'm just saying the Canal Boulevard route would have been better. But some dopey, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say some dopey locals. Some locals without the foresight and wide open thinking like me got fixated with, wow, that's how you get to I-10. You go downtown. No one's going to want to go out of the way. They don't know what out of the way is. It's 3 or 4 minutes out of the way. It's a city they don't know. They're going to enjoy being on the lakefront, going up Canal Boulevard. No, you want these little things matter for the Super Bowl folks. And that, Tombstone in the East, that was a perfect spot for all kind of welcome to New Orleans, welcome to the city, what we've achieved, what we accomplished, and I don't think anything's happening. And all I can think is politics are involved because I know I was pushing it, and I'm assuming Michael Hecht and the crew with the Super Bowl were on board. I'm part of that committee. And then it just never caught traction like my, hey, not Dowman Road to the Chef to the high rise. Put folks on Lakeshore Drive, these millionaires, billionaires, Fortune 500 decision makers, not rich, but wealthy. Put them on Lakeshore Drive to Canal Boulevard, not Dowman Road past Visions to the Chef and get on the twin span. Got to make it look good. This is first impression. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, 13 days a week from Sunday, Super Bowl 59 taking place at the Caesars Superdome, downtown New Orleans. Downtown New Orleans?
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Hey, New Orleans. If you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Changing talk radio in New Orleans for the better. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday. Thanks so much for joining us. Boy, May of 2025, like 4 months away. Gulf Shores International Airport. I don't know what that means because there are no international flights, but they're calling it Gulf Shores International Airport. It opens up. It's always been there, I guess, as like some military base or a private airport, but there's going to be some commercial flights. I think it's Allegiant Air, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say Allegiant. They're going to go from Gulf Shores, Alabama to Knoxville, Tennessee, Gulf Shores, Alabama to Houston, Gulf Shores, Alabama to Kansas City, Gulf Shores, Alabama to Cincinnati, Northwest Arkansas. I'm guessing that's like near Little Rock. And then Belleville, Illinois, which I guess is some BCD airport for Chicagoland and beyond. A New Orleans to Gulf Shores, Alabama flight, that would be like a 35-minute commercial flight, literally. That would be like, flight departs at 7 a.m., lands at Gulf Shores Airport at 7:38. It would be something like that. The going up and coming down would be the longest part. Barely have time to cruise. I don't even know how high that plane would get in the air. I don't think it would be at like 35, 40,000 feet. There's I forget where the quickest flight is. It's not Hawaii. Hawaii has flights that are like 15, 20 minutes where you island hop. But there's somewhere where there's a flight from like the mainland to some island, and I think it's like a minute and 15 seconds. It's like a minute and 30 seconds. It's the world's shortest flight. And it's a commercial flight. It's like $29, $49. And it's like a minute and a half or something like that. So, I mean, they're short flights. Where is there a short flight in the U.S.? There's some flight, I think it's like 35 minutes. I want to say it's like Seattle to like some town, maybe like Bellevue or something like that, north of Seattle. It's like a 35-minute flight. I think that's the shortest domestic flight on the mainland. I think Hawaii's got the shortest ones. What you Googling over there, Corporal? Shortest domestic flight? Shortest domestic flight. I think it's like Seattle to somewhere north of Seattle. Anyway, and it might be, I forget, is it 35 miles or 35 minutes? Might be less than 35 minutes. Anyway, New Orleans to Gulf Shores would be like a 35, 40-minute flight, tops. And then you got to figure, okay, I'm driving to the airport. I'm checking in at the airport. You know, that's got to be a good hour. And then the flight, and you land, and then you drive for that. You're in Gulf Shores, probably like, it's pretty close to driving, I would think. It's pretty close to driving. I mean, driving to the airport, going through all the stuff at the airport, flying to Gulf Shores. I mean, unless there's a quicker way to check in, like that's where, like, you know, wealthy people, they don't fly commercial. Wealthy people fly on a private jet. Because you pull up to the airport in your car, you get out of your car, literally, you hand your driver's license to the pilot, you're carrying a bag with 100 pounds of cocaine in it, and the other duffel bag has some, you know, Cougarans in it. And you walk on the plane, they don't even check the bags. You fly to some other private airport, you get off the plane, carry your bag to a waiting limousine and drive off. There's no security check, there's no nothing. It's a private jet, it's a private plane. It's kind of like that's your business. Now, obviously, flying in a private jet with stolen Cougarans or cocaine would be illegal. My point is there's not like a security check. And yes, of course, you could get caught, and I'm not recommending doing any of that. I'm just saying that it's so much easier. You pull up, walk out of your car. You want to know how wealthy people do it? They drive their car onto the tarmac. The flight's leaving at 7:30. The pilots, whoever they invited, is already on the plane. It's warmed up. It's running. The flight leaves at 7:30. The guy who owns the plane, he pulls up any time because he's a courteous person. He's probably going to pull up before 7:30 and not make people wait. He pulls up at 7:28. Gets out of his car with the car running, doesn't shut the passenger door. The driver's door. Gets out, walks straight into the plane. May not even hand the pilot his license because the pilot knows this guy. Plane takes off, land at the other airport. The pilot opens up the stairs to get out the plane. There's a Suburban or a limo sitting on the tarmac 10 feet away, running with the door open and no one in it. And the wealthy guy gets in that and drives off where he wants to go. It's just the hour or two early at the airport security check does not exist. The waiting for your bag after you land at the other airport and trying to get out of airport traffic does not exist. So, yeah, flying private, New Orleans to Gulf Shores seems viable. Flying where you've got to go through all kind of stuff at the airport. Unless that Allegiant flight were to come into like Lakefront Airport once a day, Lakefront Airport, where like the security check was 20 minutes, you could arrive 30 minutes before the flight, something like that, it would be viable. But having to go to Louis Armstrong International at least an hour before, I just don't think New Orleans to Gulf Shores International Airport would be viable. Anyway, we will see. Hey, want a great place to check out the Pelicans? Want a great place to check out the Super Bowl with rabid fans having a good time cheering on their teams? Tracy's Magazine at Pleasant, the ultimate New Orleans sports bar. Full kitchen serving that great roast beef po' boy. Too many flat screens to count. Looking for a great place to check out the Super Bowl? Any sports action. Magazine at Pleasant. The all-new Tracy's. Legendary Tracy's. Magazine at Pleasant. Listen to Blue Boy. He's excited about Tracy's. 5 o'clock powwow next. Don't move.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Yes.
On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM. WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Maury Johnson back at you. Monday afternoon edition of the program. 5 o'clock power hour coming in. But first, we head to San Diego, a suburb of San Diego, La Jolla, and Mr. Drew Brees. Drew Brees, number 9. Thank you for that intro. You are correct, of course. This is indeed New Orleans. Did I mention 5 o'clock power hour? Yeah, I think I did. We're with you till 6 o'clock, till 5:30 on television. You can also check out the program on YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every day, this program on radio, on television, on YouTube. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway, the legendary truck dealership in New Orleans, Crescent City Ford, for over 80 years. You need a commercial truck, commercial van, commercial SUV. Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park and his son, Ronnie Jr., they got you covered at Crescent City Ford in Elmwood, Jefferson Highway. And, of course, you know about the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra. Right on the corner, right on the price. I-10 at Williams, the car corner. Home of Lamarck Ford for over 45 years. Home of the number 1 Lincoln dealership in the state of Louisiana. Boy, those black label Lincoln SUVs are out of this world. The Corsair, the Nautilus, the Aviator, the Navigator, the black label editions. Ouch. Plusher and nicer than my den at home. Every day, this program on radio, television, and YouTube. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Super Bowl, 1 week from this Sunday, 13 days and counting. New Orleans doing what we do best. Don't be nervous. Don't be worried. I'm not worried about a power outage, that fluke that happened. I'm not worried about a terrorist attack, that fluke that happened. I'm the opposite. This thing's going to be, God willing, weather cooperating, should be smooth sailing. It's what we do. We're the best at this anywhere in the world. There might be somewhere in the world that's as good at what we do, but not better. When it comes to entertaining people, festivals, big events, we are the city. We're compact in size. We've got the historic French Quarter. We've got nearly 30,000 hotel rooms, all within walking distance. The convention center, the Superdome, the French Quarter, the CBD, these hotel rooms, hundreds of restaurants, bars, music clubs, historic sites, museums, all within like a mile or so of each other. Walking distance, easy. No, we get some good weather, like 60 degrees, 55 at night, 65 during the day, no rain and sunny. It's a grand slam home run, just cranking it out the park. No, it's New Orleans. People love coming here. They want to come here. They want to experience our culture. Anything out there that stands out to you that we're missing as far as New Orleans, the city, and giving a great impression? Michael Heck from Greater New Orleans Inc. has been knocking out a punch list. Governor Jeff Landry appointed him. Thank God. I mean, it should have been John Bell Edwards appointing Michael Heck a year ago. But, better late than never. Scrambling at the end to get all this done. So when these folks arrive next week, eyesores and blight and ugly, nasty stuff that makes New Orleans look, kind of dysfunctional isn't there anymore. Now, we get used to things. We get numb to things that are around us that are dysfunctional. It could be weeds, graffiti, infrastructure, litter, trash, blight, anything. Anything that you see, try to open your eyes and kind of look outside the bubble like you're an outsider. you're not from here, and look around. It could be anything. Be like, boy, by the cemeteries heading towards Metairie on I-10, the wall by the train bridge really needs to be power washed. Whatever. I mean, it could be anything. I'll tell you one I came up with the other day that I think's totally legitimate. It's small, it's minor. You may roll your eyes, but I think you're wrong. The sign that says entering Orleans Parish, coming from Slidell to New Orleans east over the middle of the lake, entering Orleans Parish, the green sign with the white lettering. At night, a lot of the reflective material doesn't exist on the entering Orleans Parish anymore. So it just looks crappy. And why isn't the sign replaced? I mean, other municipalities, they replace the sign with a new one before the reflective material comes off of it. They don't wait like, hey, man, Fred, did you notice the reflective material on the O in Orleans isn't there anymore? Let's replace the sign then. They do it before. They know they put up the sign in January of 2025, and they have a thing that pops up on the computer that says January 2027, time to replace that sign. And then you say, why? And they're like, yeah, they got like maybe a 2.5, 3.5, 4 year life expectancy. We like replacing them before they go out, before they look like crap. And then it may be a while before we get to them and it looks like crap. So we replace them right before their life expectancy is going to go, before the lettering falls off or the reflective material falls off. So you're coming in at night over the twin span, entering Orleans Parish. It looks like crap. During the day, it probably just looks like an older sign. And maybe we, quote, get away with it. But what are you trying to get away with? No, I sent that to Michael. You can email me, Corey at Corey Talks. Corey spelled Kaare, Corey at Corey Talks. There's nothing, don't think, oh, this is too small, this is too big, they'll never get to this. I don't want to waste my time. Whatever you see that is an eyesore, that doesn't look right, where tourists, outsiders are going to come into our city, and that's going to be a negative. Could be anything like the entering Orleans Parish sign. Give us a call. Now, there are several things that I got implemented. Michael Heck put me on this commission that Jeff Landry had him head up, about a 400 or 500 punch list of things, items in and around Metro New Orleans that needed to be taken care of. One of them that I thought was just obvious, and they kind of followed half of what I said. But I mean, when you're on a committee, you don't, you're going to follow everything I say or I quit. You do your best. I was on that Audubon Golf Committee for the state. Just do your best. Not everybody's going to agree with you. You're not going to agree with everybody. But I said, 500 plus G5 jets and larger are going to be at Lakefront Airport. That means not rich people, wealthy people, billionaires with a B. Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 CEO types, decision makers that can bring jobs to the city. Can't have them land at Lakefront Airport and take Dowman Road to Chef Highway and get on the get on the high rise by Banner Chevrolet. Like, can't do that. And I'm not knocking Banner Chevrolet. Just Dowman Road, Chef Highway, just old and crusty and yesteryear New Orleans. And still parts of those areas that look like yesteryear. Some stuff's brand new. Some stuff's acceptable. Some stuff looks yesteryear. So you don't want that old, crusty look being the first impression for these rich folks coming from Lakefront Airport. So I was like, Michael, the solution's easy. Commission, board people, folks that are trying to do the best for New Orleans in this Super Bowl impression, just go down Lakeshore Drive. Don't let them go under the train trestle and down Dowman Road. They're forced to go down Lakeshore Drive, over the Seabrook, first exit to the right down on Lakeshore Drive. And then you take Lakeshore Drive past Franklin, past Elysian Fields, past Paris Avenue, past Marconi, all the way to Canal Boulevard. And they turn left on Canal Boulevard, and they take nice Canal Boulevard with the oak trees and the nice houses and this nice neutral ground. They take that to I-610 and get on and go that way. So Lakefront to Canal Boulevard, all gravy to the interstate. They half listen. They're not going to go up Dalman Road, but they're going to take Lakeshore Drive to Elysian Fields. No, somebody was like, Corey wants them going to Canal Boulevard and then I-610, I-10. That's out of the way. And on a map, it's 4 or 5 minutes longer. But that's the way that they're going to go. That's the way you're going to steer them. That's the way the barricades and the police are going to steer folks. And it's all good. Instead, they're going to go down Elysian Fields. I'm not going to say Elysian Fields is crusty like Dalman, but it's got some crust to it in certain areas. And look, I grew up by Elysian Fields. I'm not knocking it. Drive down that street all the time. Canal Boulevard's plusher and nicer. That's all. And the Tombstone in the east, when we come back, I'll fill you in on what's not happening with that. And that's a shame. Hey, the Grand Victorian, I still think they've got rooms for the Super Bowl. I think they've got rooms for next weekend, like 1 or 2 left. Still rooms for Jazz Fest, French Quarter Fest, Valentine's Day. The ultimate bed and breakfast in New Orleans for locals and visitors. GVBB.com to book a room now. GVBB.com. The Grand Victorian. New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Prepared with experience, depth, knowledge, and a history in the game. Corey Johnson.
Years later, a doctor will tell me that I have an IQ of 48.
I am the smartest man alive!
Yeah, you right, Crescent City, Corey Johnson. Can you argue with me on that one, Corporal, at all?
Not at all. You're right on that one.
Corporal and I were having a discussion. You heard him say that you're right on that one. Like, you're right. You're not right a lot of the time when you and I are having discussions, but on that particular one, I give you credit. You're right.
You said it, not me.
Yep. Yeah, but you meant it. I felt it. Yeah, the Corporal and I were having a little discussion off the air. It wasn't like we were disagreeing. I was just trying to prove a point, and I unconsciously proved the point where the Corporal almost fell out of his chair backwards. He's like, cannot argue with you. You're right on that. 110%. It's crazy. Anyway, we are back on a Monday afternoon. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. The Corporal at the controls. 766-9480. Hey, when was the first Super Bowl in the Superdome? When was the first Super Bowl in the Superdome? No Google or intranet device. You either know the answer, you don't. The first of what would be, this is going to be the 8th one coming up a week from Sunday in the Dome. The 8th. So the first of 7 so far, soon to be the first of 8 in the Superdome. No Google, no intranet device, no DuckDuckGo, Bing, none of those search engines. You either know the answer, you don't. Like Danny in Baker. Last trivia question, 1975 Super Bowl. Why was it moved? The game was originally scheduled for New Orleans. Why was it moved? Well, it wasn't moved out of New Orleans. The Dome was supposed to be ready. It wasn't. Super Bowl was in January of 75. Superdome didn't open until August of 75. So they moved it to Tulane Stadium, the third and final Super Bowl at Tulane Stadium. And then the Superdome got the first of 7, soon to be 8. What year was that? Do you know the game? First Super Bowl in the Superdome, which happened to be the first indoor Super Bowl. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. Yeah, Super Bowl a week from this Sunday. Anything out there, any eyesores that we've got to clean up real quick? Something that stands out. Yeah, the tombstone in the East. All I can think is politics have come into play. Some power struggle. The folks wanted their buddy to do something or friend, or they had a different idea. I proposed this to Michael Hecht. Michael, people coming in from the East, going westbound I-10, the tombstone. Let's cut the woods out from behind it. Let's put some mounding and hills where the tombstone's down in the front, and behind it, you've got like a big mound. It's got like a Saturn V rocket on it. Mishu building the engines that put man on the moon. You're doing 70 on the I-10. You can't have a lot of verbiage. The best billboard, buddy of mine's in the billboard business. He's like, Taka, that's the best billboard. I remember I had a friend who had a billboard. He had a company. He had the damn monthly calendar up on the billboard. It's like, dude, who's got time to drive by and look at that? Doing 70 miles an hour. So you have the shuttle tank with the, mock-up version, like get Kern, to build it. Since we had that Saturn V rocket booster in Gentilly in the East, and then somehow Mississippi took it, and it's at that Infinity Space Center, the first exit in Mississippi by Stennis. What a joke. So we get a mock-up version of a Saturn V from Kern Mardi Gras World. Get a mock-up version of the external tank and the shuttle. You get a mock-up version of a Higgins boat with, Army guys, military guys running out. You get billboards or signage by each one. The engines that put man on the moon. Higgins boat helped end World War II. Or put the Eisenhower quote. Andrew Higgins helped end. Without Andrew Higgins, we wouldn't have won the war. Andrew Higgins helped end World War II. Whatever the quote was from Eisenhower. You could even have smaller stuff like the Chrysler tank engines that were built during the Korean conflict out there. Those seaplanes that were built out there. But definitely the Saturn V rocket, definitely the external tank in the space shuttle, definitely the Higgins boat. These are huge, and people need to know what we're all about. And that was supposed to happen. And I don't think any of that's going to happen. I'm going to ask Michael about it because it was a damn good idea. It was like my idea of don't go Downman Road with the billionaires and their private jets and their limos from Lakefront Airport. Go down Lakeshore Drive to Canal Boulevard. They took half of my advice. They're going to go Lakeshore Drive to Elysian Fields. I think they should go all the way to Canal Boulevard, but whatever. The tombstone should have been, welcome to New Orleans, and look at what we've done. Put man on the moon, save the world. I mean, damn, missing the boat. Now I'll find out why that didn't go down. But, I got Michael Hecht and that crew like, no, we don't power wash a month out. We power wash immediately because it's not about it getting dirty again quickly. It took years to get it dirty. Power wash now, power wash immediately. 3 days later, they're power washing when they were going to wait. Now, there are 400 checklist items plus, maybe 500. So I'm telling you about a few I came up with. Everyone on that commission and board came up with a few. All different thinking, all different lifestyles, worlds of thinking, and, creative people that came up with stuff. Here's a small one, and I sent it to Michael the other day, 13 days to get it done. Coming in from Slidell to New Orleans East on the twin span over the lake, entering Orleans Parish. The green sign at night, the reflective material on Orleans Parish is falling off. It looks like crap. It's a bad impression at night. Can't have that first impression that. So hopefully that sign, DOTD, it replaces it. Or goes out there and repaints Orleans Parish reflective material on the sign, whatever. But it's got to be right. That's a first impression thing. And it's minor, it's small. I get it. But those are the things. Those are the things. And those are the things we are numb and we are used to, that we overlook. I mentioned the simple things that we overlook. Infrastructure, blight, litter, trash, graffiti, neutral grounds not being cut, weeds and crap, But there are things like entering Orleans Parish, the reflective materials off the sign, it looks like crap at night. Probably looks worn and beat up during the day. But we get used to this stuff. We get numb to this stuff. We got to do better. We got to do better. I mentioned I used to go to Ruth's Chris, and I'm not a big fan of their steaks anymore. I get the chicken over there. They got this airline chicken breast. It's 2 chicken breasts, boneless with the drumette hooked on, so you still get the skin over the breast. So it's lots of flavor. And then I get a salad and some mashed potatoes. But part of that meal was Leidenheimer French bread, that little mini loaf. And I'd take it home. I get a to-go order from Roos to get the chicken, the mashed potatoes, the salad, and the Leidenheimer French bread. It's like a 4-course meal. I'd heat up that Leidenheimer French bread in the oven. Roos would give me a little dop of butter that would be room temperature when I got home. Just fantastic. Roos Chris got bought by Darden, the company that owns Olive Garden. They started boxing this crappy bread, I guess, that they serve at Olive Garden or their other Darden restaurants. And, that's how these major companies do. They replace the bread, the Leidenheimer French bread, with this crap from Darden. I was posting on social media, directing it to Darden. This is New Orleans. We're a gourmet food town. We love to eat. We're not anywhere USA. Get rid of that Darden bread that I could use to build a brick wall with. It's terrible. And bring back the New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. 6 months later, Roos Chris brought back the Leidenheimer, not shipping in that Darden stuff anymore. Leidenheimer bread back at Roos Chris. Good move, fellas. Yeah, Leidenheimer French bread. Good to the last crumb. The French bread we all grew up on. The French bread we love. The French bread of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company. So damn good. How do you get rid of that? No, it's a major mistake. I give Darden credit. They listened and they got rid of the crappy bread they serve at all their other restaurants, and they brought back New Orleans' best, the Leidenheimer we all love. Kaboom goes the dynamite. See, you can make a difference. You can make a difference. You know, this is funny. I admitted this last week. I'm like, for me, top 10, top 15 for sure, top 20 at worst. Best restaurant in New Orleans, and so many folks that love gourmet food are going to roll their eyes. Houston's on St. Charles Avenue. It's fantastic. It's expensive. You could go anywhere with what you pay at Houston's, but it's damn good. And they have a prime Allen Brothers filet, which is, it's prime, it's marbled. Folks say, oh, prime, choice filet, it doesn't matter. It matters. Best filet you'll ever eat. The best filet in the city. I'm normally a ribeye or strip guy, but Bradley Sneller at Stacked Coaching's like, dude, I know you like a steak. Go with the filet. Doesn't have as much fat. It's leaner, and you get all that protein. So that's why I switched from a strip and a ribeye. And I still will cheat, and I'll get the damn strip and ribeye because Houston's will have a prime Allen Brothers New York strip special. I've had that. Incredible. The ribs are good. The Caesar salad's fantastic. Corporal, they got the triple dip sink behind the bar. You know what I'm talking about? Where you dip in the chemical, you dip in the second sink and scrub, you dip in the third, and then the glasses are good to go after that. Good to go after that.
Right.
Like it ain't a car wash. I got to put my mouth on that glass. So 2 things. I'm always using a straw at Houston's.
Yep, as you should.
I even ask, you got a glass from out back from the big thing that you pull down and the steam and it actually cleans the glass, not this chemical room temperature nasty dip thing. So I get on, Houston's owned by Hillstone. I get on Twitter and I put the place over on Leak Avenue, you know, the road that connects like River Road to the Lowe's. What's it called? The Aqua Pure. Damn, how can I forget? Eastman is the family that owns it. I'm going blank. God, how am I going blank on this? Aqua something. We just put in, Google this. I'm going to Google myself. Let's see. New Orleans owned dishwashing machine company. Aquachlor. Autochlor. Autochlor has like a mini behind the bar. One rotates. It's like looks like a turntable. Holds about a dozen glasses. The other one is like a mini box one that you pull down the double doors, but it fits behind a bar. It's very small. The place, the Italian joint by Lakeside, I'll sit at the bar and get some bolognese over there. A Tavolo by the P.F. Chang's. That's another one like Houston's, an embarrassment. Corey, you say you love great food and you eat the bolognese at A Tavolo. It's really good bolognese. I can't tell you about the rest of the menu, but that bolognese is good. So is the eggplant appetizer. But anyway, behind the bar, they've got the Autochlor dishwashing system at A Tavolo, not the triple dip nasty sink. So I went on Twitter and put, at Hillstone, the company that owns Houston's, and I actually snapped a photo from the bar. That's how much of a jerk I am, Corporal. I snapped a photo of the triple dip sink while sitting at the bar at Houston's and said, love your restaurant, great food, consistent, fantastic, high quality. Why this nasty triple dip sink? And then even put the Autochlor website, buy one of these. So now I'm going to snap a photo of the one at A Tavolo and then do the Hillstone again because they still have the triple dip sink. Still have the triple dip sink. Anyway. Let's hit the phone lines. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Shane joins us in Pearl River. Not a fan of the triple dip sink, Shane.
I ain't been there. I go to Mr. Ed Lakeside, but never that.
Mr. Ed's over there on what is that? The old Bozos. It's not, I forget what it is. 21st Street, something like that. What's that, Shane?
The dude's got like, I don't know, umpteen restaurants around town.
No, he don't. I saw a billboard on I-10 that says Mr. Ed's in the French Quarter. 3 locations. 3 in the French Quarter.
Yeah, the margins in restaurants, you probably know, are so thin. You got to have more than one, really, to you know, you got to have more than one to really make it.
No, I mean, I guess so. I mean, that's the concept with these restaurant folks, these groups that have multiple restaurants. Definitely on the small scale level, like, I talk about Smoothie King or Subway or something like that. You better have 3, 4, 5 franchises or 1 or 2 that do really, really well, you know?
Yeah. No, I if around here, if you go to a chain, you're missing out. But, Corey, man, I was, I'm going to ask you something. I'm not sure if you touched on it yet. You know, so Trump was inaugurated, a week ago?
Yep. 1 week ago today. Yep.
And that dude's pushed out more executive orders than freaking Julius Caesar.
That dude's pushed out more what?
More executive orders. And, I guess there's constitutional merit to it, and he's able to do it. I'm sure his lawyers have vetted it, but I don't know. You think he's
I wouldn't say that. I think there's stuff that he's hoping just sticks. And there's stuff that he hopes doesn't hope, but if it goes to the Supreme Court, maybe that conservative-led Supreme Court will rule in his favor. But I think there's stuff that, let me put it this way, like the immigrants right now, they're not putting a dent in any of that. There are 12, 14 million illegals in America, and I don't have a problem with any of them except the ones that are criminals, okay? Because they're part of the fabric of America. They work at the, poultry plants, farming, all that stuff, everything would skyrocket in price. Talk to conservative dairy farmers that got to have the illegals. So you notice on the news, like go watch Fox tonight, it's about deporting illegals. Colombia is not going to take these illegals we're sending back. We're going to put a tariff on Colombia. Colombia said, don't put the tariff on us. We'll come get the illegals. We'll work it out. So there are all these, ICE going in and shutting down a chicken plant, going into this town, going into that town. They're arresting and deporting a few hundred, a few thousand tops, okay? They're not even putting any kind of a dent. It's not going to be, at the end of the year, 1% of the illegals will have been deported. It won't be 1% even, okay? I promise you. Not even close. Not even anywhere close. And politically, his people see him rounding up illegals and deporting them, and they're salivating. They love it. It's all political theater, 100%, especially with the illegals, And the liberals are buying right into it. They're making it the top news stories on the left-leaning media outlets. They're doing stories on it, separating the families, all this stuff. So the momentum is huge for Trump on that stuff. But no, I would say Trump is changing a lot of stuff, a lot of executive orders, a lot of things going on, reversing things. I mean, it could be like, you don't have to free-range pigs. You can put a pig in a holding cell now when you're farming. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. Some of it's going to stick. Some of it's not. Some of it's legal. Some of it's not. I think he's just throwing a poo-poo pile out there. And I don't mean like bad. I just mean like I don't want to use the S word, a lot out there and hoping a lot sticks.
And the Republican, and listen, I'm a registered Republican, voted for Trump 3 times, but I'm much more practical. The pendulum is eventually going to swing back the other way. I know this past election, the Republicans did great, and as a Republican, that's great. But he says he's got a mandate. He won a plurality of the votes. He didn't even win a majority. He won like 49% of the vote. I think he won by The last mandate, I'm in my early 40s. Last mandate I saw was Barack Obama in 2008. Just kicked McCain's you-know-what up and down the head. 60 votes in the Senate. He won like 300 and some. McCain won like less than 200 electoral votes. That was the last quote-unquote mandate. You know, there was a lot of anti-Bush rhetoric back then. But the pendulum always swings back the other way. So the Republicans just better be careful. And I'm going to call you in 4 years if the Republicans lose, that all this, you can't cry foul when if President Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom wins in 28, if they do the exact same thing, declare a national emergency on guns, and they declare buybacks or whatever they want to do. The Republicans cannot cry foul, on that topic.
Shane,
if it comes back because
you're 100% right, and that's how politics are. Like the other side wants to get even. Rarely are they like, okay, you guys screwed up. We're in power now. Let's get back to reasonable. It's always let's get revenge. Let's go in the opposite direction. So no, the thing that I'm looking at, Shane, is, just generally speaking, government is bloated. Government is inefficient. Bureaucracy's ridiculous. We have a huge debt. There's a lot of fat in government. A lot of these changes, I'm hoping there are going to be some positive outcomes by default, like, that with not even maybe the intentions that were, originally thought when they were implemented. So there's so much going on. There's so much change. This guy's like the anti-government president. He does whatever he wants, and the Republicans have to, get right behind him and follow him. He's the man, and now he's the most powerful man in the world. I'm hoping that there's some positive change as far as the swamp and bureaucracy and inefficient government and that type of stuff.
It'll be interesting to see, I don't know how many government employees they got. They got them all going back to the office. How many of them end up resigning? I hope we don't start laying off millions, tens of hundreds of thousands of them. I don't know if that would help the economy, but maybe retool them. I don't know what he can do. But anyway, Corey, love the show.
Yeah, you're right, Shane. Thanks. Shane from Pearl River dialing us up. Yeah, he has an executive order. All federal workers have to report to the office to work. None of this working from home anymore. Hey, it is a Monday. Lebanon's Cafe open till 9:30, 7 days a week. They open at 11. They go straight through till 9:30. No closing in the middle of the day after lunch before dinner. 11 a.m. straight through till 9:30, 7 days a week. Lamb chop, shish kebab, all your favorite Middle Eastern sides. Carrollton at Jeanette, right by the streetcar barn. In between Claiborne's and the Riverbend, it's Lebanon's Cafe.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hey, New Orleans, if you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Back in October, Audubon Gutters installed gutters at my house. They can do the same for you. New Orleans' own Audubon Gutters since 1991, 34 years and counting. The Gulf South's largest, most experienced gutter installation company. They don't do paint, they don't do roofs, they don't do siding, they don't do windows. All they do is gutters, and they're the best at it. Gutters featuring the Leaf Guard system, so you'll never ever have to clean your gutters again. AudubonGutters.com, AudubonGutters.com. Corey Johnson with you, 5 o'clock powwow Monday.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies.
Latrim. 5 o'clock powwow. Super Bowl a week from Sunday. Brett Martell with the Associated Press. He's covered a few Super Bowls in his day. How you doing, Brett?
I'm doing well, Corey. How are you?
Doing well. We have about 28, 29 years with the AP. I bet you've covered 10, 12 Super Bowls?
No, actually not that many Super Bowls, but yes, I'm in my 29th year now. Covered. This is my 4th Super Bowl covering. I've also been to one, so it'll be my 5th Super Bowl overall. But I've covered, the last 2 in New Orleans. We just over in New Orleans. I covered the one in Miami. But I don't have to go to Super Bowls when the Saints aren't involved or when it's not here.
Yeah. You're a guy covering this beat. But they have sent you to Olympics and World Cups before.
Yes, they have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff, Brett.
Assignment.
Yep, that is a good assignment. Good work. Hey, Brett, before we get into the Super Bowl, there were 7 NFL head coaching vacancies. There's only one left, and it's the Saints. Who are the Saints going to hire? What is it? Mike McCarthy or Kellen Moore or Cliff Kingsbury or Darren Rizzi or a few others? There's maybe about 4 or 5 to choose from, and they've kind of whittled the list down to that number. Is that safe to say?
Well, I'll tell you what, they don't really need to rush now, do they?
Not anymore. I mean, with 6 teams filling all the vacancies, but also that's like, Aaron Glenn, did you miss the guy you wanted going somewhere else? Joe Brady's pulled himself out of consideration. Some are saying it's because the Saints aren't very good. They're long in the tooth. They're old, and they're dead last in the league in available salary cap money, like $50 million in the hole. So and it's a small market, maybe not the most attractive job, some would argue.
I think it's a little more complicated than that because, I'm not sure if Joe Brady loved it here that much to begin with. The first time he was here under Peyton, or he wouldn't have left to go to LSU. That's not because there was anything necessarily wrong with the Saints at the time, but, different situations for different people. And, now his situation is that he is highly valued in Buffalo, and he has a transcendent quarterback who can run, like he did with Joe Burrow. And, Joe Burrow was no Jaden Daniels, but Joe Burrow was good when they needed him to run, and much like the way Josh Allen is. And so I think that Joe Brady just realized, I'm in a good situation now. They don't have a quarterback in New Orleans, and they might not have a quarterback in New Orleans.
No, I don't need to go back to Carolina.
Yeah, right. He doesn't need to go back to a Carolina-type situation where he doesn't know what they're going to have and if it's going to be a good fit for him, and just to fall flat on his face again. He doesn't want to fall flat on his face 2 times, So I think it's important when people like Joe Brady are evaluating opportunities, what kind of fit it is, and they're better off not wasting everybody's time, if they don't think it's going to be a good fit, and just pull out.
Yeah, no doubt. Any clue when the Saints are going to have a new head coach?
No, it could be. It could be after the Super Bowl if they're really high on Kellen Moore. I think the longer it takes, the more that maybe they're interested in really having a substantive talk with him after the season, right? Because he's got 2 more weeks left of work to do. So, I know they like Rizzy. I don't think several of the players who went on social media propping up Rizzy's candidacy recently would have done that without the blessing of the organization, or maybe without even prodding from the organization. And then, they like McCarthy. He may be the leading candidate just because we've talked before, Loomis and McCarthy go way back. I believe, just from my discussions with people in the industry, I don't want to get too specific, but I believe that he is interested. And so if there's mutual interest and the price is right and the vision is right, that could wind up being the choice.
Brett Martell's with us, another Martell Monday. Got a good Super Bowl a week from Sunday, Brett. What is it, a rematch from 2 years ago?
That's right. I think it's not who a lot of people wanted to see in the Super Bowl.
You mean fans or local people economy-wise?
Fans, and maybe even economy-wise, because, look, I know that Buffalo's a small market, and, then there's Detroit, I think, but the Detroit and Buffalo fan bases have been traveling this time.
A Buffalo-Detroit Super Bowl, I'm just making up numbers, would be like a $50-100 million extra economic benefit.
It would have been off the charts.
It would have been off the charts, Brett. It would have been off the charts.
It would have been two fan bases who have had amazing years and feel like they have to be there because they're not used to this.
Kansas City fans are like, this is the 3rd straight, maybe some of them aren't going to go. And then Philly fans are like, we were here 2 years ago, can't go again, that kind of thing. So, no, you're so right. Detroit and Buffalo would have been off the charts. Like I'm saying, it would have been tens of millions of dollars in increased economic benefit, no doubt. But it is a Super Bowl. Regardless of the teams, every year, the next game's bigger than the last. So this will be the biggest ever. But, I guess maybe not the most desirable in some ways. I don't know. I know a lot of fans were rooting for Buffalo just to get a change of scenery from KC. Folks wanted Daniels because he's a rookie kind of thing. But yeah, Detroit, that was a crusher, Brett. Detroit had a lot of fans because they're that blue-collar team that's always been losing, root for the underdog.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've covered a couple. I covered the last Bills game in the Superdome and the last Lions game in the Superdome. And they had huge visiting fan turnouts for both games.
Yep.
It was impressive.
No, it is. And they want to get out of the cold, come down south, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Buffalo and Detroit would have been off the chain. Brett Martell's with us, another Martell Monday. Hey, Brett, I had Fletcher Mackel on last week. He's like, Brandon Ingram might be traded if they can find a deal for Brandon Ingram, but Zion's going nowhere. And I think that is utterly ridiculous. I mean, trade Brandon Ingram too if you want, but Zion Williamson, I think needs to go. And it's just sort of, hey, he's so much upside and the talent. It's like 5.5 years in. It's like, I mentioned like a stock you like a blue chip, like, Coca-Cola or something, PepsiCo. And it goes down. Bail on that stock, Brett. Put your money in another one that's going up. Someone else will buy that stock at its low price. But this, nostalgia thing or hanging on to Coke because you want it to go back up again. It's like Zion Williamson's been here 5.5 years. He's missed more games than he's played. He's still getting held out like every other game, every third game right now when he's supposedly healthy. I mean, the guy... You want to trade him to a team that still thinks there's upside so you can get something for him. But I think the experiment's over and you move on, Brett. My God.
Well, I think there's a lot of validity to that. But I also think there are practical challenges in the form of, how much money he makes and what it would take to another team to balance that out. Salary-wise, what the kind of players they'd have to give up salary-wise just to balance out a trade like that. And then, maybe the Pelicans might also insist on if some of these contracts of the players that the Pelicans would be receiving are expiring soon, then they might also believe they should get some kind of draft compensation too. It's just, it might be a hard deal to make, to where you think you're getting enough value back for it to be worth it to give up on the potential that you do see when he plays.
Yep. I think, Brett, you've got that team out there. I don't know if it's, the Vikings with like a Herschel Walker trade type thing or, Ditka with, I'll give you every pick in the draft for the Ricky Williams selection. But I got to think there's a few NBA teams out there that are good, that have cap space, that have a couple of star players right now that feel he would be the missing piece, arguably. And you could get something from like a starter or two, a first-round draft choice or two, just because of the potential upside. I think it's funneled down to only a few teams, not like league-wide universal acceptance of that. But there's got to be some teams out of 30 that would want this cat where the Pels could get something in return that they felt was worth it.
Maybe, but... if you felt like your team was close to winning something big and you realize how much salary you would have to give up to make it match for a deal, which means, okay, well, we feel like we're close to winning something big. We're going to have to give up some guys we really like in order to get Zion. And then what if Zion's, pattern of being totally unreliable and unavailable continues? Then we've given up guys we really like. And what we've gotten in return is the same frustration that New Orleans was dealing with before. And that's why I think that trade is tough for them to complete right now. So with Brandon Ingram, I think if he gets healthy, by the trade deadline, there's a lot of teams that I think they do feel they could pick him up on an expiring contract and try to make a run.
Yep. Hey, Brett, how can folks check out your stuff via the AP?
Yeah, apnews.com on the laptop or the AP News app, which is free on a smartphone, and it gives you news from all over the world.
Always a pleasure, Brett.
Same here, Corey.
Thanks, brother. That's Brett Martell from the Associated Press. Where's Blue Boy? Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. What? Tell everybody to have a great Monday night. And what else? We'll see you tomorrow right here at 4. Thank you, Blue Boy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.